Guys, in today's video, we are building this beautiful LSS Gen 3 build, and I'm giving away a Gen 3 razor worth a ton of money for a good cause. More details on that. Also, 15% off RCBS gear, all shall be revealed in today's video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we have two Voodoo full custom 22 rimfires. We're gonna build one of them. However, if this video gets 2,000 likes, I will, as soon as I can, build this 18-inch 22 in a hunting configuration, and then we're gonna see if we can get some birds with it. So make sure, first thing you do, even if you're watching on your TV, give this video a like, and also guys, please subscribe and watch the whole video because it does help us out a lot on the channel. So we're gonna park this 18-inch because I know you guys, we're gonna do a video on this real soon. I already have the chassis for this and I've got a really cool little build in mind for that. So we're parking this guy over here. The rifle we'll be building today is this 22-inch V22. Now we have Timney triggers on both. This one I have a 60 MOA rail because I also want to do some extended range shooting with the 22. So what we're going to be doing in today's video, we're going to pull this bolt out. Let me just shift my hand a little bit here, being a little bit doof. Afrikaans word of the day, being doof. Okay, being a little bit dull or a little bit slow. Something to note about the Voodoos, which is very, very cool. They also make 2011s now, which is a double stack 19 millimeter, that would be something. 9mm pistol, which is really, really cool. The Voodoo is a control feed action. Okay, so it comes with a proprietary magazine, and because on 22 rimfire bullets, the bullet is not coated in a copper jacket, the bullet is susceptible to damaging itself as it goes into the chamber. So what the Voodoo basically does is it grabs the little rimfire case and pushes it into the chamber without hitting the sides or a feed ramp or anything like that. So more on that a little bit later. Now, one thing that I'm probably most excited for in today's video is what we're going to be building this in. And I have no idea what it's going to look like when it's finished, but I know it's going to be cool. I'm effectively dubbing this the ESS Gen 2, but that's not what it is at all. This is an LSS Gen 3 in the tactical configuration. Now, in the tactical configuration, it looks a lot like the original ESS. And fun fact, my first chassis ever that I bought from MDT was the ESS chassis in FDE, which is, we're gonna be able to build something very similar to that today. So have a look at this. Let's get rid of some of our packaging stuff and the manuals, which we didn't read last time and we're not gonna start now. Okay, so we have our sort of core of the chassis over here. We have the module to attach our buttstock and everything. We have this sort of carbine buttstock. Might swap this out, but again, this is the tactical look. And then we have this sort of ESS-esque forend with our grip over here. So let's get all the components out for our chassis, and then we'll get to assembling this puppy. It's been a hell of a long time since we last did a rimfire match on this channel. So kind of my goal, set this up, get it in the fight, and then get over to some rimfire matches because they're exploding in popularity worldwide. So guys, if you're on the fence whether or not you ever want to shoot a competition or something like that, go to a rimfire match, go check it out. The beautiful thing about shooting rimfire is you're not burning out the barrel, it's reasonably affordable to shoot, and you could just grab somebody's gun and they can have you shoot the whole match with it. So yeah, head on out to a rimfire match, it's a ton of fun. Also, before we get to building this, I completely forgot 2 weeks ago because it's been chaos here. I completely forgot to tell you guys, you can get 15% off if you use the code IMPACT15 when you're shopping directly at RCBS. I'm going to have a QR code for us over here, and there is going to be a comment pinned below this video. So if you need to pick up some reloading gear and stuff, head on over to RCBS. If you're in South Africa, you can also obviously grab your RCBS stuff and your MDT stuff from impactproshop.net. This also means in that pinned comment, there is going to be a link for anybody who wants to shop some MDT stuff. We need this little bit too. Okay, let's clear boxes out the way and get to building this puppy because I can't wait to see what this is going to look like. Okay, first things first, we are going to get these action screws out. I love the fact that they supply these nylon sort of nuts for us now, that if you are swapping chassis and things like I do all the time, so that you don't lose those action screws. So rear one, front one, I always check if they're different. In this case, they are the same, which is music to my ears. And there are two little washers that are sort of press fit in there. So let's pop that off to the side. Now, if memory serves, last time we made a bit of an oopsie because we didn't put in this trigger guard right in the beginning. So let us start with doing that now so we can avoid our oops from last time. Right, so we click that in there like that. It indexes on the back of the magazine release. Push that in, hold it tight, slip that bolt in. Alrighty. So there we go, our grip is on. Now when I build a chassis, I always like to kind of build the chassis first and then I just drop the barrel action in. The biggest thing, guys, when you're building a chassis system like this is to torque your action screws correct. Now this is all in the manuals and things over there, so make sure you read those if you don't know what you're doing. Now on the MDT chassis, I generally, as a rule of thumb, just go 65 inch-pounds on the two action screws. Now if memory serves, we need to take these plastic covers off before we can do our next step. So let's get that in. Now guys, at this point in time, if you're watching and you haven't hit the like button yet so we can build the little 18-inch gun too, make sure you do that. Asseblief, that'll help us a lot. Alright, we can pop these cover and hardware over there, and then we have our forend. Yes, baby. That's starting to look like something. Now, sometimes you have to keep this in mind with an enclosed forend like this, and this is actually something we need to look into now. We might actually need to quickly put this buttstock on and then pop our rifle in, because once this forend is on, there is a possibility that you cannot get in there with your barrel action. So I think we're going to play it safe. We're going to pop the forend off to the side first, quickly put our buttstock on, set it up so that our length of pull is right for me, and then we'll pop our barrel action in and slip the forend over after the fact. I think that is the safe bet in this scenario. So these two just thread together like so. Now, as a rule of thumb for me, I shoot about 34 centimeters from where my trigger would be to the end of my buttstock. So I'm quickly going to pop this in to get us that measurement from the trigger. So let's take our barrel action. Okay, barrel action goes in like this. What's nice about these Rimfires is I don't have to be too worried about my studio lights because the barrel's only 18 inches, which is good. When I do my 29-inch big hunting rifles and the big long competition rifles, there's a risk of smashing one of my studio lights. It has happened before. Luckily not broken, but certainly some collisions have been had. I'm not too worried at this point in time to get all my surfaces and everything nice and lined up. I just actually want to grab this measurement from the trigger shoe over there, okay, to the back of my buttstock. So I need 34 centimeters. And that is on the money. So I'm absolutely stoked with that. Now we need to line this up so that it's nice and vertical. Also, obviously, if you prefer your buttstock to have a little bit of a cant, you can do that now. And then we're gonna run this castle nut in. And what we could do just now is with a little punch, just give it like 1 or 2 little hits just to tighten that up. There's a tiny little grub screw over there. There we go, that should avoid that from turning. Perfect. Now I've got my fix-it sticks torque bit. I'm gonna loosen, because I didn't tighten these at all. I just sort of grabbed them. I'm gonna loosen that a little bit so I have some wiggle here. Pull back and down on the barrel action to make sure the recoil lug sits nice and tight. And then I'm gonna slowly start adding. And if you've been watching the channel for a long time, you know I love to give a newly set up rifle a little bit of a bump. Okay, that just makes sure that first little bump is out the way. Check our function here. There we go. Such a cute little short throw. Now I will be putting some of my VLD lube on this, which obviously lights up a bolt. Let's feel that trigger. Okay, good. I just need to get myself one of these little thumb rest that I can put on the back because I'm obviously used to shooting like that. Okay, let's now get our forend slid over. Now at this point in time you need to be careful, right? Our crown is a little bit exposed here. By the way, we do have a muzzle device which we're going to get to. So our crown's a little bit exposed, so we're going to just be really careful and sort of thread the needle through like that, not to knock anything on our chassis. Okay, well, this is our first idea of what this looks. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. Okay, let's get this tightened up and see what we're working with. Now sometimes, even though I have lots of nice tools and things, nothing beats just working on a little shooting bag to get you off the surfaces when you're moving quickly and putting something together. Because we're basically doing this in real time. Now looking closely, we can see there are 2 short ones and 4 long ones. Now there's 4 holes on this side of the forend and 2 little holes here. If you try and put that long one in there, you're gonna have a long day. So don't do that. Ask me how I know. So let's just get everything threaded and then make sure it's all seated in the right position before we start putting these guys in proper. Now, usually I don't use torque and things like that for these kind of screws. I kind of just do them by feel, and even in some of these holes and on the screws, there is like a little bit of a thread locker compound to make sure that these screws stay in place. Again, finger tight on these, especially those little short ones, is vital because there's not a lot of thread on there, so you can strip those pretty easily. They do not need to be crazy tight, so please be careful on that. Obviously, as you can see on this chassis system, we have full M-lock on the sides, on the sort of 45-degree angle, and on the front here. So if you wanted to set up like a coyote gun or a jakkalsgeweer or whatever and have some clip-on thermals and things like that, you do have this rail on the front here. Now, as I said in the beginning, we have a 60 MOA rail on this thing, so kind of even when you can see that drop with the naked eye, it's going to look like a dragster once we put this optic on. Okay, so again, little function check. Everything is working in order. On our muzzle, we're going to go for the APW Little Bird, and let's get that on quickly. Like a glove, give that some love. All right, I must remember to just tap this castle nut. Okay, now for optics, it's no surprise that I'm going to be shooting some competitions and stuff with this rifle. So I've just done sort of a loner Gen 3 Razor off one of my other rifles as I wait for some more optics. Initially what I wanted to do, I wanted to grab one of the Viper first focal plane 5 to 25s, the new ones. They're freaking awesome and I've been loving hunting with that scope, and I think it'll be plenty for this. But for now, while I wait for that one, because I do not want to take it off my 22 Creedmoor and lose that zero, because that rifle is absolutely ready to rock at any moment. So I've stopped tinkering with rifles once they're set up and good, which is ironic because I've taken the scope off something else. But for the most part, my hunting rifles, especially as we're sort of nearing baboon season again, I want to make sure they're ready and they're in the fight for moment's notice. Yeah, so anyway, Gen 3 Razor is going to go on this for now. I'm just going to snug those up. And then as for ammo, these Voodoos specifically were chambered, okay, which is interesting because most of the time a 22 is kind of a 22. But these were actually chambered for the Lapua Center X ammo, which is this little blue box over here. Now, I have actually, before filming this, okay, taken this rifle out. Not in this configuration, I just popped it into one of my ACC chassis, and I went to do some ammo testing. And I was blown away with how bad these Center X's performed. Not necessarily from an accuracy point of view. Okay, let me just grab a right little torque bit there. From a standard deviation point of view. Now, with rimfire, standard deviation is very, very important with any type of shooting, but with rimfire, it's especially important because if you're shooting a rimfire rifle out to 200 yards, that's equivalent to shooting your 6.5 Creed or 308 out to like 700 yards, right? So when testing the Center X's, the standard deviation was all over the place. It was massive. Then I tested some of these Norma matches, okay, which shot kind of alright. My CZ455 really liked these, But also back in the day, we didn't have the Garmins and the things that we have now. We had lab radars, but they were really bad at picking up 22s, so didn't really have the numbers. Then I shot these Ely matches. These things, the standard deviation over like 30 shots was less than 10, which is incredible for rimfire ammo. So I've stocked up on some Ely match, and that's what we're going to be running in this little build. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this build. Very cool news. Soon we'll be starting our construction project on building a new studio. And then that camera will be able to sit further back so you can see more of the bench. Obviously now we've stepped things up with our overhead camera. By the beginning of next year, we should be in our new studio space and settled in. So yeah, let's pop that in over there. See what we're doing here, Pete. Boom. Oh, that feels really good. What do you guys think? What does this look like? I think it looks freaking awesome. Let's pop that magazine in. As you can see, the magazine I told you guys about is like a bit of a proprietary mag, so that is going to go in like that. Now, it's really, really cool about the Voodoo, and it was a new thing when the Voodoos came out. Since then, others have followed suit. But this is a true Remington 700 footprint 22 rimfire action. So that basically means if you have an ACC lying around or a Hunt 26 or whatever you have lying around, you could literally take a barreled action and drop it in there, and it's not like the 455, which is a proprietary system, which essentially means you can use your competition chassis and just chop and change between your rimfire and your centerfire, which is really, really cool. Okay guys, what do we think? I think this is going to be a spicy little competition setup. So next video, if you guys do well, you smash that like button, I will build us a Hunt 26 18-inch little 22 rimfire, and then we can go smack some birds with it. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Again, there is an RCBS 15% code down below that is live for a limited time only. And then we have the MDT link and all the beautiful stuff at the bottom. And now to our dedicated viewers, I am giving away a Gen 3 Razor. That is going to be linked down below the video in that same comment where the other links are. Guys, we registered a non-profit and we're doing a lot of work, and we have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, supplying resources, training, weapons and ammunition to ex-special forces guys and ex-military, ex-police guys that go out and they rescue victims of human trafficking. It's something that's very close to my heart, and I've reached out to my sponsors so we can raise a ton of money. My goal is to raise $200,000. So if you have a company, a corporate that wants to make a large donation, please reach out to us. That all those details are going to be in the link down below, or if you just want to buy a ticket or just feel like compelled to make a donation, we would really appreciate that, and all the resources go directly into fighting the fight against human trafficking. So check that out. Okay, guys, God bless you. If you're watching this video, you are incredibly blessed. God is great, and we can't do this without him, and I can't do this without you guys. And the platform you've given me it's humbling. And yeah, I just want to thank you for that. Very, very cool. Okay, see you in the next video, where we'll either be shooting this or building the 18-inch. So, okay, see you guys.